Everyone claims to be a skeptic these days. You've seen it. I don't trust the media, big pharma's a lie, or experts are bought. But here's the thing, rejecting everything doesn't make you a skeptic. It just makes you gullible, but in a different way. Real skepticism, the one that shaped science and philosophy for more than 2,000 years, isn't about blind rejection. It's rather about questioning with precision and holding doubt in mind, and even suspend judgment whenever evidence is not enough to have a strong belief about something. So where and when did skepticism go wrong? When did it go from these ancient thinkers that were using reason carefully to find truth to this tool that is basically used to support any kind of conspiracy theory? Today, we are breaking down the forgotten history of skepticism, from those ancient thinkers to the modern-day skepticism that we see in this mess of an online space that we're having. And by the end, you will understand the difference between real skepticism and just being wrong. My name is Kevin, and I have too many interests, not enough time, and a drive to understand the world better. To see how skepticism got distorted, we need to go back to the beginning. Because in the beginning, skeptics were not just internet trolls, they were philosophers that asked radical questions that are still challenging us today. So where does skepticism start? You've probably heard the line from Socrates, "The only thing that I know is that I know nothing." And it sounds very cool, but actually he never said that. What Socrates really did is that he was going around Athens and he was asking challenging questions to people. And he was pinpointing that their thinking was flawed and that the beliefs that they hold were not supported at all. And that made people very uncomfortable. So he was not saying that knowledge is impossible. He was saying that many people claim to know something that they actually don't know. And for that, he was sentenced to death in the end. So that shows that asking too many questions can be dangerous. And this idea from Socrates that we claim to know things that we don't know was taken by a group of people called the academic skeptics. And they took doubt seriously, but not to the extreme. So they believed that it was impossible to be 100% certain in our beliefs, but that some of our beliefs are more reasonable than others. You can think about it like this. When you take a plane, you cannot be 100% chance that you're going to make it alive. However, based on the evidence that you have, you know that it's a safe bet that you're making and that you will arrive home safely. So academic skepticism is just like that. It doesn't paralyze you with doubt all the time. It just teaches you to weigh probabilities in your beliefs. Now, this is where things get wild, because meet Pyrrho. He was a Greek philosopher that doubted everything, even his own senses. Some stories even claimed that his friends have to be very careful with him because when he approached a cliff, for example, he wouldn't trust that there is a cliff, so they had to physically restrain him to avoid that he's just walking to his death. Those are stories. It's ancient Greece. It's been a while. Keep it as a story. So now, was this guy a genius or a crazy guy? So in reality, the stories amplified a lot what is actually Pyrrhonian skepticism. So it was not about blindly doubting absolutely everything and acting as if nothing would actually exist, but it was about suspending judgment. Pyrrho saw that people had so many beliefs and there was these arguments about the beliefs, and you're confronted with those deep questions about reality that you can never find an answer to. That created a lot of stress, of anxiety, of uncertainty. And since he believed that you wouldn't have the tools anyway to answer some of the questions, the more rational thing to do would actually to suspend judgment. And once you do that, you will achieve tranquility of mind and peace. You can just sit back and say, I don't have to know if it's true or false. I just don't know. I suspend my judgment. And that sounds very cool. And I hope that somebody can do that, actually. But in practice, if you tell me that my house is on fire, I wouldn't simply say, hey, I don't know, maybe it is, maybe it is not. I would run home to check if it's the case. So very cool in theory, a bit harder to apply in practice. Now fast forward to the 17th century. And at this time, skepticism takes a turn for the extreme. René Descartes, a famous French philosopher, looked around him and said, what if none of it is real? And he was not just saying that maybe our senses are unreliable. He was saying that it might be that an evil demon is tricking us all the time, so that whenever you think that there is a cup on the table, well, it might be the evil demon tricking you. And if you believe that you have parents, maybe it's the evil demon that tricks you there. This is where skepticism goes existential. But Descartes didn't just bring a problem and leave it to us. He also tried to solve it. And his solution is the extremely famous sentence, cogito ergo sum, which means I think, therefore I am. Many people know this line, but not many actually understand why it's important or what does it even mean. I think, therefore I am. Why should I think to be? I am already. Well, the reason is that Descartes was trying to see if there was knowledge that we can have that is absolutely certain. Remember this evil demon? Well, what if there was this demon tricking us all the time? Could we still know something for certain? And Descartes believes that even if everything else is an illusion, we can still find certainty by doubting, because existing is a precondition to doubting. And that means that even if he's being manipulated or deceived by this evil demon, he needs to exist in order to be deceived. And this moment changed philosophy forever, because it's not only about doubting, but it's using extreme doubt in order to try at least to find certainty in our knowledge. Now here is the twist, and it's something that is often misunderstood. The ancient Greece, they never doubted the existence of an external world. They believed in an external reality, but saw that our senses were flawed. So they simply wondered, how much can we know about the world knowing that we are imperfect? And this changed fundamentally with Descartes, because he put everything into questions, also his own existence and the existence of an external world. And why did he do it? Is it just that we became more and more abstract in philosophy and we don't have anything to think about anymore? Nope. It is because science was showing that our senses are not only unreliable, they are very, very, very unreliable. I just shown that Earth is going through space at a speed that we cannot even conceive, and yet it feels like we're static, that nothing is happening. And Copernicus had already shown that Earth is actually orbiting the sun, even though when we look at it, it looks like the sun is orbiting us. If our eyes can deceive us in such a massive way, what else are we wrong about? So Descartes was not just doubting for fun. He was trying to find a foundation for certainty in a world where common sense kept failing. Because every major scientific discovery at the time was showing one thing: we cannot trust our perception blindly. And so this philosophical doubt from Descartes laid the groundwork for the scientific inquiry as we understand it today. And now that's why we test ideas, we gather evidence, we revise our beliefs. But for some reason, somewhere along the way, skepticism became more about rejection than investigation. So what does that all mean for us today? Is skepticism just an abstract philosophical idea, or is it something that actually has an impact in the real world? Well, let's look at how skepticism works out in two different ways in our society. On one side, you have conspiracy theorists, and those are people that reject the mainstream narratives, claiming that they're just asking questions. But as we've seen, real skepticism is not just about rejecting things by default. It is rather a process of gathering information, considering the evidence, and understand what makes something credible or not. If someone disrupts every institution, but uncritically accepts a YouTube documentary as the real truth, then that's not skepticism. This is just outsourcing your own beliefs and ideas and perspective of the world to another authority. And by the way, most probably an authority that is much less knowledgeable on the specific topic. On the other side, you have the skeptics that have shaped history. They're the ones that use doubt honestly. Think of the scientist who questioned outdated medical practices, or the journalist who exposed corruption, or even the whistleblower who revealed hidden truths about corporate. And the difference is that their skepticism is not aimless. It is structured, it is tested, and it's backed by evidence and logic. So skepticism is not just about saying, well, I don't believe it, but rather it's about finding how to know something even when uncertainty arises. And that's the real challenge. Not falling for any claims that is just feeding into your biases, but rather to think critically, even when it's uncomfortable. So the next time you hear someone say, I'm just being skeptical, ask yourself, are they using skepticism as a tool to uncover truths or as a shield to protect their unsupported beliefs? And remember that at the end of the day, skepticism is not about believing less, but rather understanding more. See you on the next one.